Welcome to the podcast, Julia. And so we finally did it. So very excited to tell you more about it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to answer all the questions and to share my experiences with the job search.
So cool. I was thinking last night during when I was preparing for this podcast, with what question I would like to start. So there was different ways to start this podcast, but I think I know you started a podcast before almost 2 years ago. I think in 2023. So I was wondering how you feel now that you are in the other side, as the guest, and also in this part you can also introduce yourself, do your, I don't know, what are you doing right now, where are you from, and yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really exciting to be a guest instead of a host. I didn't think I'd ever be on the other side. I don't know. I feel like, I've been interviewing so many inspiring people, and it's just so amazing to also be the one who's like inspiring too, which is like, yeah, so it's really awesome, and I think definitely being able to be surrounded and being able to reach out to all these inspiring people just like motivated me to also make some kind of impact. So I'm glad I was able to make an impact with the job search. But I am from Waterloo, so I live in Canada. I study communications at the University of Waterloo, and I'm in my last year pretty much. So I'll be graduating in 2026. And yeah, so almost done school.
Yeah, cool. So in this episode, Julia, we wanted to talk more about the new job search strategies that recent graduate students or students that are currently in their career. So we wanted to explore more on this topic. Um, so the first question to start is, I think it's in your experience, how many internships until now you complete or you are launching, and how do you usually come across this kind of opportunities? Maybe it was for LinkedIn, maybe it was for a personal contact. I don't know. You can tell us more about it.
For sure. So I'm going into my fourth internship. With my school, we have this co-op program. So in order to graduate, you also need to be, finding these co-ops, these internships, throughout your university experience. So definitely, job search is a really big chunk of your whole university life. And my first three internships were actually I found through the Waterloo, my university like job board. So we have a job board that helps us, some companies they work with our university and to hire students. And so pretty much, yeah, I've applied through that like internal job board of university. I was always like my goal from like the get-go was to find an external position. So a job through LinkedIn or like Indeed, any other job boards. But that was really challenging. I was never able to do it. And so yeah, it was just very tough, but luckily with this my final internship that I'll be working in the fall, I found that internship through social media outside of my job board, and which kind of shows that eventually you can do it. I think having these experiences, my first three internships really helped establish a really good building block and a really good um, kind of starting point to where I am now. Um, and um, and yeah, so yeah, a lot of networking. I mean, with university too, it's like obviously your first internship. It might not be like for some people you might be like for some people it might be a really good one. Just for me, it wasn't that. I feel like, uh, but it just takes time networking and kind of just a continuous like progress and all that. So yeah, hopefully that answers a
Okay.
little bit.
Great. And this kind of internships you do, I don't know, the first one was paid or was with
Hmm.
all was
Yes.
paid?
Yeah, so all internships are paid, and which I know, like, I've heard some people say that in today's job market, even some people are accepting unpaid internships, which is really unfortunate because I feel like all internships they you like they need to be paid. I mean, like you're I don't agree. Like I feel like you shouldn't I don't think you should. I mean, obviously if you can't get any other opportunities then yeah, but yeah, I think all internships should be paid. I think um yeah, so
Yeah.
luckily I was able to, yeah, make all of my pay.
Cool. I don't know if you can tell us specifically or just like a summarize of what you did
Yeah.
in these internships and how was your first days or how was the manager teach us about the onboarding process? How was your experience with these first opportunities? And when you are like preparing for this, I don't know, first days, how, I don't know, an advice to young graduates that, or young students that need this advice to prepare before launching their first internship.
Hmm. So my first, my all my three internships were in Canada, and I mean all my internships are going to be in Canada. But my first internship was I was like a digital communications assistant, so I was working for the university, and I think that was a very good first internship just because I was able to live at home still, and I was able to be in an environment I was very familiar with, the university environment. And I think it wasn't an internship I wanted. Like I didn't want to work for the university. I study at like Waterloo, so I was like I wanted to, so I was kind of bummed, but I'm really glad that I no did my first internship at the university just because it really it was a very like kind of soft launch into the corporate world. I was still in the university environment, but I was getting a little bit more of a feel of what it was like to work in an environment with other like you know professionals in the field. So I learned a lot about how to work with people, like collaborating with other people. Just because prior to my first job, I was doing like all my projects, I was pretty much working like solo on everything. And so with my first internship, I was able to learn how to work with other people, and it was a really good first experience, I think. And then my second internship and my third internship. So my second one was more so, it was also like marketing, video marketing, which is something I enjoy doing. It was in an industry that I wasn't very interested in, and it was in the industrial automation industry. So machines. It was like in the shop floor. So there's a lot of engineers. There's like robots. They're pretty much building robots and machines and these like conveyor belts and everything. And that was something I was not interested in whatsoever. But it's still like it was still very valuable just because I was able to see what it was like to work in this industry. And then my third one was in the investment industry, which finance and everything, which again something I'm not passionate with, but it really it had some I mean it had some good like good things. I mean, I was able to work in British Columbia for the first time with that internship, so that was fun, like moving away from home. I think like some maybe a tip I have for people going into their first job or kind of going to this new environment is to just kind of move away from getting it perfect right away. Just because with my internships, I feel like my first couple months I was very much like in the learning phases, and it was only at the on the final month, like so we have 4 month internships, and it was only on my final month of the internship where I was like finally getting a grasp of things. So just like learning, like just understanding that you're there to learn. You're not like you're not working there like as a full-time, like you're still in school, and the supervisors, the team, they know that you're still learning. So taking it as a learning experience, take this opportunity to like make mistakes and to really figure out what it is you want to do and what it is you don't want to do.
Awesome. I think you say many important things about your experience you have. And you also highlight a topic that is very relevant for many students. That is, how do you find uh, the specialization inside of the career you are studying or the major you are uh, proceeding in your university. So I don't know if you, how was your experience of trying to understand? Yeah, I study communications, so there are so many roles in this specific major or career. So how how do you match your profile with the the specific roles that you are think you can be good at?
Yes, yeah. So communications and like marketing is such a broad field. There's so many like areas you can go to. Like there's, I've always thought of marketing as just like, creative work, but there's also growth marketing, which is focused on data. And there's so it's not just like, creative field, but, after exploring more of communications and more of marketing, I was like, what kind of passions, like what kind of hobbies do I have in my own life that I could implement in a role at a company? And for me, for me, the best one seemed, it was a very easy decision. Like I love creating content. I like filming videos. I love like brand building and so with that in mind, it just made sense for me to go into more of a brand marketing role or a creative marketing role. But if you are interested in something in something else, like there's just ChatGPT, actually AI has really helped me figure out what it is I want to do. There's some questions you can ask Chat GPT to help you figure out what you're most interested in. So I think looking at the simplest starting point I would say is just look at your passions outside of school. What do you like to do? What do you want to dedicate your life towards? And I think finding a role that aligns with that. So if you like, making apps in your spare time, it just why not explore this app, like, app building at a company, like as a startup or another, like a bigger corporate company, right? So I think start with what are you most excited about, and what hobbies do you have that you want to turn into something that you could make money from?
Yeah, great. Now I would like to transition to other topic that you are like you have more passion I think about it. That is content creation, and specifically because you when you are trying to look for new internships in this new year, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you decide to go public. So my question is, why did you decide to go public with your job search?
So I needed to find a bold approach, just because you know being very like quiet about it, just submitting resumes or cover letters and just targeting like individual people was just not working for me. I feel like I wasn't getting responses. No one was answering me, and so I was like, what? I need to just I need to like put myself out there a little bit more and just make like catch someone's attention. I need to be loud and I need to be proud about it. So I was like, it just made sense for me to post this this kind of pitch, this almost video cover letter, video resume on LinkedIn and on Twitter, just because I wanted to catch the attention of so many people, not just the company I was pitching to, also other people. I'm all about inspiring others. So even if it didn't land, if any of the videos I filmed for companies didn't land me a role, at least I was able to inspire others to take a bold leap and eventually like there's just gonna come a time when all the effort you put in is gonna pay off. So I had hope that after pitching multiple companies, I'd finally get a response from someone. So I think just yeah, you need to like find a way to stand out, and public resume just was a big standout. Like not many people do it, and so that was my like approach. I was, yeah, trying to
Uh,
go outside of the box.
yeah, and that was also very smart and very also makes sense for me because you're applying for marketing internship, so makes sense that you have
Mm-hmm.
this like uh, ability to show in public what you are, uh, how you record content, how you can, edit, how you can uh, do the actual work that the company will like to help. So I don't know if you can also explain a little more about how you plan this video, how you organize your ideas, how you start with your research, because I think that you see the video, but behind that it's a lot of work, it's a lot of preparation. Uh, in so and also I find the video in X, so I watched the video and I think what's very different was very like I connect from the first second I watched was like was I don't know what have something that can inspire everybody, as you say, not just for the company, not just for the founders, also for a lot of people out there that maybe have not a good day or a good week with your job search. So was very fascinating. But uh, if you can if you can explain the basics of how you plan this video.
Yes, for sure. So, yeah, so there's definitely a little bit more research that went into it. I think when it comes to creating videos like this, you really have to understand kind of the company and what's like so different about this video compared to the other videos I filmed. Like I filmed two other pitch videos for other companies. The This pitch video just stand out a little bit more just because I actually took some time to learn more about Shopify's mission and their brand, their tone of voice and everything. And so I took a I took a few it wasn't actually that like the research itself took a few hours. I had to create all of this very quickly just because the hire like applications for their other job openings were in the same week that I created the video. So I had to take action very quickly. Like there was no overthinking that. There was just no time for me to think about it too much. So I pretty much, started looking at Shopify's social media pages, like on their Instagram, their website, and learning more about okay, what kind of colors do they use, or just trying to find a video that I could be inspired by. And so I was inspired by their video on their homepage, and so I used that video as an example for my own video, and I think it was yeah, so creating a video for specifically for the company, you need to be thinking about matching the video create to their own brand. Just because you're not just creating a video for yourself, like you're creating a video to convince them to hire you. So like why do you think you belong? And so yeah, I really made sure to touch on their values and their everything kind of about them. And but I think it also doesn't have to be like a video. So the reason why I created a video was because I was going into marketing and I wanted to do a lot of creative work. But if you are passionate with, website building, or you love art, you love like, uh, you know, app development, another example, like do something like create a little project for the company. So, for example, create a little fun like app that maybe aligns with your dream company, or maybe create a fun little website that looks like the company you want to, apply to. So, I think but the process was very fun and it was very quick. Like the whole process took me about 4 days. Editing took like 2 full days. Filming took 1 day, and scripting took like another one more day. And yeah, but it was very quick. Like, with this, there's no time to think too much. You just got to do.
Perfect. So I also, when I was trying to prepare for this first episode, um, I noticed that you are also considered. I don't know if this is correct, but I see that you are considered like an introvert person. I don't know if that is correct. But what advice or comment do you have for students that are trying to start with this networking that is very necessary for like, I don't know, to know more about a company, or to connect with a specific people or persons that can connect with other opportunities. So how do you, what are your comments on that? How you can start if you
Mhm.
are an introvert person?
Yes, actually, that's a very fair assumption. Actually, I would consider myself an introverted person in the sense that I feel like I recharge by being by myself, but I do love like chatting with people, and I think uh, at the beginning it was definitely very hard. Like networking is a big thing in job search. You A lot of the people I've chatted with, like they got their jobs through connections, through networking. And how do you network? Like, you can network and meet people through school, or you can go attend events. And of course, at the beginning it can be very scary, especially because you might not feel like, you may be asking yourself like, what kind of value can I provide in these conversations? Like, what if I don't know what to say? What if I'm like, what if I'm like the lowest one in the room, or like I'm not the smartest one? But I think with that you have to really, push yourself, and you have to kind of understand that, or you have to kind of realize that it's you really want to strive towards being surrounded by people who are a lot smarter than you, or a lot, a lot more experienced than you, because there's this saying that, you become the people that you spend the most time with. So if you want to become like the next best person, then surround yourself with the best people. And at the beginning it might feel a little bit like, obviously nerve-wracking, just because like, oh my gosh, like everyone thinks, what if everyone thinks I'm like stupid or something? But no, that's not true. Like you're you know you have so much value to bring, and I think you just have to, show up as your own self, show up curious, show up excited. Like you don't have to know everything. You just have to come into a room with some curiosity about other people, like, because people love talking about themselves too. So um, start by going, maybe like, if you see a networking event happening, maybe go with a friend. Start, uh, or even maybe if going on a call is a lot easier than meeting someone in person, like maybe ask someone to go on a call. And I think it just comes with practice too. So uh, it again, like I was in the place where I was very nervous, very introverted, very like shy, but eventually you just, yeah, the more people you chat with, the more comfortable you get. So it just takes time.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the same. So you can have the same, like, uh, everyone have some kind of value to bring to the table. So you don't have to be afraid, or uh, but yeah, there are going to be some people that say no, but you
Yeah.
need just to keep trying. Um, and so just to close the question before, that was about the how you approach this kind of how to show up. In this case, your example was the video that you create. Uh, in my example, was not like a video, but was a cold email that was very, very specific on one things that I can help to the founders to build with the product they was offering. So
Mhm.
in this case was a B2B HR tech startup. So
Yeah.
I also was very interested to land like an internship, a marketing internship, but I found the email of the founder. So I don't know where, but I find the email. So I tried to study also their LinkedIn profile. I study all the connections they have. I also trying to see what was the tech stack they were using right now for their company. So my mindset was more in the tech side, because I love to also a little bit be very technical sometimes. So I trying to see how was built their website, a lot of things. So I planned this cold email, also trying to, in the first line, just like to feel the person that they are doing something very like, I don't know how to say this. It's very like, very helpful for other companies, like they are having a big impact or something like that. I think that I put. So in the next paragraph I just detail what I was using right now, what tools were, what I was capable of, and some links that, I don't know, portfolio things or something like that.
Mhm.
And the founder just replied, just say, "Thank you, Han,
Yay.
for your comments, for your words. Actually, I'm not looking for marketing internship right now, but I'm looking for sales operations or something like that. So I
Yeah.
entered to the company as an first as an SDR and then as the CRM specialist. So was I think this kind of experiences show that you can, as you say before, just show up genuinely, trying very curious about what they are building, very curious, trying to connect the dots, trying also to show what you are capable of. And I love one phrase that I see many times in Twitter or X that is, if you can build and ship, they will hire you. So it's,
Yeah.
I think, very, very important to remember. So, um, just to close this first part of the podcast, Julia, I was wondering if you can also tell us more about the biggest lessons you learned uh, during this process of applying to internship, applying. Just like I see in your YouTube videos that you applying to hundreds, and
Yeah.
so I think I don't know. I think you also have some important advice in this process.
Yes. Yes, 100%. So I think first piece of advice is I have is nothing good ever comes quick. Uh, you need you really need to be patient, and it's really tough just because I'm not a patient person and I want things to happen right away. But the best experiences, like the best opportunities, they take time, and I think there's no such thing as um, overnight success too. I mean, a lot of a lot of accomplishments. I mean, they happen through just consistency, and eventually, like all this consistency will like eventually there's going to be a day when all this consistency and all the effort you put in will pay off. You have to just you have to just keep going, and I think you know you really need like this you need this internal like almost like discipline and motivation. And how do you get that? Like how can you stay consistent? And all it really all takes having like passion, being so obsessed with something that you're going to keep going no matter what. And and so by just being like this obsessed and almost being this, yeah, like being super like, I feel like I was very desperate like with trying to find a really good company, and so I put everything into it. And you just have to, yeah, I think that's the first piece of advice. And then the second one is also to, which is kind of similar to the first thing, is just to look at things in like a very long term perspective. So just because something doesn't happen right now doesn't mean it's not possible in the future. You can't, you know, don't put your eggs in one basket. And also, your what you think is your dream might, like, I never expected to be working at Shopify. Like, it wasn't my, like, at the beginning, it wasn't my top dream company, right? But the more I learned about Shopify, the more I started falling in love with it a lot quick, like a lot. So I think you just yeah, don't have an idea of a goal, have an idea of a dream, but don't be upset if it doesn't go the way you want it to, just because I think everything happens for a reason, and things will come together the way they're supposed to. So, yeah, just have hope, be optimistic.
Yeah, very interesting.
Mhm.
So I also prepare for this podcast just a quick questions to close this interview. So I don't know if you're
Ooh,
ready.
I'm so ready, yeah.
So what books are you reading right now?
Okay, so the book I'm reading, which is called What's Your Dream by Simon Squid. I think that's his last name. Simon is definitely his first name, but pretty much is a book about, you know, this TikToker. He was actually Simon. He was going around and asking people what their dream is. And because I think everyone has a dream, but uh, not everyone is is courageous enough to follow their biggest dream. And so I think this book really, yeah, really helps you kind of figure out what it is you're really passionate about. Yeah, it's your dream.
Yeah, perfect. Then I will put the links on the description. So, do you prefer on-site or remote work?
I I at the moment I think on site for sure, just because with marketing and social media, you have to be, there's a lot of it with like, filming, content creation, like interviewing people. But remote is really, I think remote is nice too, but yeah, on site, I think a little bit more for me.
Okay, just another that is more personal. What is your current favorite hobby?
My first, I'm really trying to find a hobby that doesn't rely on social media and content creation just because I do it like all the time. But recently, I've been trying to learn a little bit more guitar. Not gonna lie, I haven't played it in like a week, but it's like sitting on my floor right now. But yeah, guitar and then also uh, dancing, which I haven't really done in a while too. But um, going on walks and yeah, just trying to be reading more as well.
Cool. And finally, why marketing?
Marketing is very interesting for me just because it's marketing almost like brings communities to almost together. I feel like with marketing, you're able to showcase a brand or like a company in a very exciting light. And there's this, I think I love this idea of promoting something that you're sharing something you're really obsessed with. Like so I love like I've been like marketing myself since very little. I feel like just like marketing your passions, I think showcasing what you love to the world is really fun. I think that's what marketing is about for me.
Great. So happy to have you in the podcast, Julia. Thanks for your time. I know you are very busy, but thanks again. So
Thank you.
this was all the interview that I prepared. So I hope I also trying to do my best. So thanks